from very early on. In the case of Lviv from the 14th century, it becomes a Polish city under control of the Polish crown and with a majority Polish population. And it stays like that well throughout its history practically. Even during the partitions, when it wasn't in the Polish state, there was still a Polish majority population. And it only lost that in 1945 with the Soviet Union shifting Poland's border west. So you could say that Poles, they do remember that these two, of course there is no revisionist or revisionist thought today,
no, of course not.
But it does, these cities are cities that whenever a Pole visits them, there is this special connection that you can't doubt. And then on the other hand, we have these cities, we mentioned previously Gdańsk, which has its very complex history, but also initially very strongly associated with Poland. Even though there were fewer Poles in Gdańsk, if we talk about ethnic Poles, because they were Polish citizens, even though they were ethnic Germans. But with the partitions of Poland, there is this stronger German element with the German state trying to erase traces of all Polishness and so on, later repeated. And unlike Lviv, which returned to Poland in the interwar years, Gdańsk, or the free state free city of Danzig, as it became known, was instead had this very peculiar status as a free state guaranteed by the League of Nations, belonging technically neither to Poland nor to Germany. And then we have a city such as Wrocław, or Breslau as the Germans knew it during the partitions, which was also initially had a strong Polish history and character from the start of the 11th century, or even slightly earlier, up to the 14th century. Later on, it becomes a part of Bohemia, and later on, of course, well, the Austria-Hungarian Empire, before the Germans come in and lay a claim to Silesia and take control of it in the 19th century. So these are cities that Poland regains in the 1945, and a lot of these people that lived in Vilnius or Lviv, they move west to these so-called recovered areas. If we look at similar cities in Britain, then technically, as we mentioned, we don't have any cities that you lost.
No, I mean, I think at the time some people were a bit disappointed to have lost Calais, but I mean that was not, that was sort of a city outside the
yes,
outside the main borders.
But we could mention the cities of Scotland, which today naturally are part of Great Britain and the United Kingdom, but before
1707, yes.
They weren't technically part, but they also have a very long history. Glasgow, Aberdeen, Edinburgh, these are cities
St Andrews, yes.
When you visit them, you see
they have a distinct identity, particularly in Edinburgh. I mean, Glasgow's real identity, I think, came again in the Industrial Revolution. It was a famous place for shipbuilding.
Yes.
And the industry there.
Yeah,
I mean,
Edinburgh, especially with its stones.
Oh yes,
stone buildings.
The architecture in Edinburgh is fantastic. The old town and the new town. The new town, of course, is very old, a bit like the new town in Warsaw.
Yes.
Marvelous, a marvelous history.
Then there is another city that there was some controversies whether it should be given city rights, which is Belfast, because it didn't have a cathedral, but it was given city rights after an exemption was made. But naturally, that is a city that in some way could be considered to have been lost.
Adam, sorry, I'm just going to have to stop you there as usual. The clock has defeated us, but we'll pick it up next time. There we are. I've had to interrupt Adam almost in mid-sentence, but fear not, if you join us next time on Poland Daily History, as we hope you will, we'll pick up the story. Until then, thank you for watching.